I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I'm glad you said that title.
Yeah, I was struggling through it as I was saying it, but I got it out there, so I'm proud of myself now.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself. This is a movie starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Jonathan Majors, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catherine Newton, Michael Douglas. There's a lot of people in this movie.
A lot of people.
Another surprise person that I will not mention.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think that was a known thing. I think that was a surprise cameo, so I'm not going to mention that. I'm going to try to not spoil this movie too much. But look, before we get into talking about Ant-Man, we'll say Ant-Man 3.
Okay.
Like this video, and then subscribe to our channel. We talk about movies and TV shows and all that kind of good stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button, and then, comment down below if you've seen Ant-Man in the quantum realm, Quantumania.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Let us know what you think of it in the comment section below. This thing's been out for about a week now.
Yeah.
So
I'm honestly surprised that we saw it as soon as we did.
We did. Well, this is a movie, because we had some issues going to the theater early on in the day, and this is a movie that we could take our kids to, so we went to go see it with them last night. And, yeah, I don't know where to start with this movie.
Yeah, so I've said this a number of times that I feel like I've only wanted to see it or see any of the Ant-Man movies because Paul Rudd's in it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just like, he makes the movie for me. If he wasn't in it, I don't think I would have any interest in it.
Yeah, I mean, we love Paul Rudd around here. I've loved him ever since, back in the Apatow days, 40-Year-Old Virgin, and Clueless. He was in Clueless way back in the day as well. So
one of your other favorites, oh my gosh, Ron Burgundy, Anchorman.
Anchorman, yes, he is great as Brian Fantana in Anchorman. But I don't know, it's been feeling this way for a very long time with Marvel. It's just the same old shtick, and I'm just not sure that I'm quite on board like I used to be. In fact, I know that I'm not on board like I used to be. This movie was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it was bad. I do respect the fact, as we talked about this on the way home, that it's called Quantumania, and they actually spend the entire movie in the quantum realm.
Right.
That's kind of the premise of the movie. They get sucked in the quantum realm at the very beginning. I'd say within the first 5-10 minutes, maybe. And they're in there for like the whole time. Like that's the whole movie. So
yeah. So I guess that is a good thing that the title was not like misleading.
Yeah.
I remember when we watched Doctor Strange. Was it you, or was it like other people?
I really like Doctor Strange. There were some people I think people got disappointed because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came out right after Spider-Man. And everybody was so hyped up by them bringing in all the different Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, all the villains. They were thinking that Multiverse of Madness was going to be along the same lines and we were going to see some really crazy stuff.
Right.
We didn't quite get that. I think it's still delivered on its premise because they do travel through different multiverses throughout the movie. But yeah, I'd say that you can't... One criticism against Ant-Man 3 is you cannot say that the title is meaningless. Like, that means something in this movie. They're in the quantum realm, and you really learn about the quantum realm. Like, I think we get that fleshed out more so in this movie than we did any of the other Ant-Man movies, because it's always been a thing in the Ant-Man films.
Right.
And I think in the first film, he kind of banishes that guy, the bad guy, the yellow jacket, I forget his name, Darren Cross, I think, to the quantum realm, and then we see him in this movie show back up. So that kind of comes back full circle a little bit. And I can't remember Ant-Man and the Wasp like at all. I don't even know if you saw that one, did you?
I can't really remember it either.
I know I took our son to see it, but that was 5 years ago, but now that movie came out.
Right.
But that was such a nothing movie. And this one's definitely, I don't think this is a great movie, but it's definitely memorable. Mm-hmm. There's parts of this movie that I will remember for sure.
Yeah, I'll just start off with a big positive for me was the humor.
Yeah.
There were moments where I was laughing, and that's always a good thing. And of course, a lot of it was delivered by Paul Rudd, but I think that there were other people that made me laugh as well.
Yeah.
So the, comedic elements definitely worked for me, and I felt like it was also appropriate, in the movie. But, yeah, I'll let you kind of say a positive before I like go into maybe some
Well,
problems.
I would say the same thing. There are some genuinely funny moments, and I
Yeah.
think that Rudd, it's impossible to not like Paul Rudd, like in
Right.
anything that he does. He's just
Yeah.
very charming and funny. Um, my only issue is he's supposed to be a superhero.
Right.
He is the hero of this story. I'm not fully on board with Paul Rudd as a superhero. I just cannot buy into him being this like I don't think he's supposed to be like a badass superhero like Thor or Captain
Right.
America. Like that's not in his character. But it's like when he's leading the movie, I cannot buy into him as that hero.
Well, don't you feel like that he kind of talks about that though?
He does, and he makes fun of himself, and he brings
Right.
that up. And he does have help from his family. You got Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie, who I actually thought was a positive as well. I really like Michelle Pfeiffer. I like that she's kind of come back and is in
Now,
stuff.
wasn't she in it last time?
She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a big plot point in Ant-Man and the Wasp, now that I'm remembering, is they rescue Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet, from the quantum realm. So
Right,
that happens in
which-
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, we kind of, we find out that it's Hope's parents basically play a big part,
Yeah.
in this new like family dynamic or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, Michael Douglas has been in it since the beginning. He's always played
Right.
a pretty big part. But you have, him and Michelle Pfeiffer. And I mean, the whole family's together in the quantum realm. They do get separated at a certain point, and there's like two groups, like Paul Rudd and his daughter, Cassie, played by Catherine Newton, who I also thought was pretty good in this movie. I don't think anybody was necessarily bad.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely people that didn't stand out. Like, I don't think that Evangeline Lilly really had a lot to do in this movie as Hope.
No, not really.
And neither did Michael Douglas, really, except for flying a silly ship and have to stick his hands to fly it, to control it.
I don't know though. Are you forgetting the like big, ant moment?
He had the big Gandalf moment at the end.
In this one, they definitely were trying to involve his daughter a lot more. She has
Yeah.
this like desire to be a part of the team. Him, Hope, and her.
I can't remember when Catherine Newton. I don't know if this is the first movie she's been in, or because I mean his daughter was a little girl in the first one, and I can't remember the second one.
We clearly can't remember. Yeah,
I can't remember a lot about Ant-Man. I'm sorry. I've seen the first one twice, and I've seen the second one once.
Right. I
So-
feel like she was probably in the last one.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so, because I think that was before Catherine Newton really became like the bigger star that she is now. Not that she's a huge star, but
Yeah.
like she was in more stuff after 2018, 2019. I think
Right.
like Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, and stuff. But one positive I'll point out before we go into negatives and what we didn't like about the movie. I think Jonathan Majors, even though I have some problems with the way they handled his character, his performance is great as Kang. I think he's legitimately threatening in that role. It's not quite to the level of Thanos, but I could see him getting there. He just didn't get there with this movie, but I don't think that the storytelling and the writing was necessarily doing that character any favors in this movie. So I don't think that's entirely his fault in his performance. I do think he's very menacing in the movie, though. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. For being the bad guy, I feel, I liked his performance or whatever.
yeah,
Whenever we left the movie, I had you look up when his own movie was supposed to be coming out. And I mean, we're still a couple years away from that. So
yeah, the Kang Dynasty is supposed to be 2025.
yeah, so we'll see. We were kind of having some theories about him showing back up in Loki when the new season comes out.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good possibility.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he might show back up, I guess, through these next couple of years until his movie comes out.
Yeah.
So, definitely there's potential there for a big bad villain, I guess. So
Yeah, the only problem is am I going to care about anybody that's opposing him when we get to that point? Because the stakes were built for Infinity War and Endgame, but I actually cared about all those characters. I don't care about all these newer characters in the same way, at least not yet. So they have 2 years to try to get me on board. I'm still watching these damn things at this point.
Right.
So I'm still giving them chances, but
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you want to, something that like I really want to talk about is someone who showed up in this movie. I don't know if it was supposed to be like a known thing or not.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, the big fat face guy.
Yeah, so MODOK was in the trailer.
Okay.
And but I don't think it was revealed that it was the villain from the original Ant-Man. So
no, you find he's working for Kang.
Yeah, he's working for Kang.
And it's kind of like serious, but also comical. The way that they played it. And
so first of all, it looks terrible.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It just looks like it just looks really silly.
It looks like almost animated, and his face is all stretched out, and it looks like
it just looks goofy.
A very poor like Photoshop job.
Yeah.
Almost like a filter that you put on your face on like Instagram or something.
Yeah.
But part of me wonders, because I just don't see that sliding with Marvel and Disney. Like, was that intentional? Like, was it supposed to be like intentionally like over the top and like that to be more funny?
I mean, they definitely like were playing on that. They're like when Paul or Ant-Man first sees him, he's like, what happened to you? Like, everybody's like kind of scared about how ugly he is or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like laughing and stuff. Like, not laughing, but trying to act like, trying not to be rude about it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, it had happened again later when Hope saw him. They were like, is that you? And they're like, what happened? He's like, oh, we'll talk about it later. I don't know. Like, they were definitely playing on the comical aspects. But like you said, I'm not sure if they realize that it doesn't look good. Like, surely they
it looked pretty bad. But that's my problem with this movie, and then the whole thing with Kang. Like I said, the performance by Jonathan Majors is good, but to have that character of MODOK be like his second in command,
right?
And Kang's trying to be serious and menacing, and then in the next scene he's like having to say something to MODOK, and they're having to have a conversation, and he's trying to be threatening to MODOK, and then it comes off as comical, like when he replies to him.
Right.
And their interactions are supposed to be comical, but then when he interacts with Ant-Man in the next scene, like it's supposed to be real menacing.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be threatening. So it's so like back and forth with the comedy and the seriousness. And it has that, I'm sorry, but it has that Thor Love and Thunder problem. It has the same problem where Christian Bale was a great villain, great serious villain.
Yeah.
With a serious storyline. Everything around him is very comical. And I think that's the same thing with Kang.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Majors' performance here. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know what's going on. They used to be able to balance, Marvel used to be able to balance comedy and drama just so much better.
Right.
I don't know what the difference is between back then, because there's like funny moments in Infinity War, but the movie's very serious.
Right.
So I don't know what the difference is now.
Maybe they're just doing a little too many funny moments, and it overpowers it, maybe.
I think maybe they're just letting them linger too long or something. I don't know. The timing's not right, though, with the comedy in the more recent Marvel films, and that's something they definitely need to fix with better writing. I mean, I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a writer for Marvel, but it's something that they need to get under control because it's becoming a problem with these movies, I think.
Yeah. Something else that I just want to talk about before we, give our scores is, and I would say that this is a negative, but as far as like the world that we're exposed to or whatever,
Quantum realm,
and the characters within it and everything, the people in it, it just felt, I don't know, it gave me like Star Wars vibes.
It's very sci-fi.
Yeah, it like there were just all these, it reminded me of like there's like a desert scene, and like these like flying spaceship things that it just reminded me of Star Wars. And then there's like a part where they like go into where everybody lives and stuff, and that reminded me of Star Wars, where they like go into the bar and you see all these weird different characters and stuff.
There's like a cantina,
yeah, they had just a bunch of
an alien that has no holes.
Right, there's a bunch of just like random weird silly characters, which I guess can be fun for kids and grown-ups too, I guess. I don't know, but for me it just made it almost seem generic or something.
Yeah.
And it was just so much, and whenever there's just so much, it just feels like an overload to me, and it's like, what, like, this is so random. I don't know. It just felt random to me.
I mean, I was lukewarm on all that. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
that some of the characters were, creative and inventive, and I usually like that kind of stuff because it adds to the world, it opens up the world, it kind of expands things, and makes you feel like you're a part of something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they did a great job at building this world of the quantum realm. But it was okay. Like, I didn't necessarily have a big problem with it or anything.
Yeah, I guess like it felt like they were all from somewhere else or something. Like they
Yeah.
weren't, it didn't seem like anybody really was the same or whatever. And I don't know if that is because they're in the quantum and
I mean,
maybe they all come from other places.
you have different creatures down there, but then you also have people that are very much like humans
Right.
down there as well. So it does get a little like weird.
Yeah, it just felt very random and like a what's it called, Modge Podge of
Hodgepodge, mishmash.
everything but the kitchen sink type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just something that I don't know if I was entirely on board with that, but
Yeah, I mean, other than that, the only thing I want to say, there's some good action in this movie, I guess, some good moments of adventure in the film. But overall, yeah, it's pretty middle of the road for me. It's not the worst Marvel movie I've ever
Right.
seen. I don't know if I like this better than Thor: Love and Thunder or not.
right.
I would probably put them both on the same level, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But if we're gonna give scores, I'll go ahead and give mine.
Yeah.
I'll give this a 3 out of a 5.
Okay.
It's okay.
Gotcha.
It's not the worst. It's okay.
Gotcha. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the same as me. You're right there with me, huh?
You said 3.
I said 3.
Yeah, I said 3.5.
Oh, I thought you said 3 out of 5.
No, 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
I got you. So you liked it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just
Paul
again,
Rudd
Paul
did it for you,
Rudd.
I guess.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. He's just funny, So
Okay, well, there's our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp into the quantum realm. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Or Quantumania, that's what it's called. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We kind of enjoyed this, and we kind of sort of recommend that you maybe watch this for free on Disney Plus when it comes on there. Maybe don't spend $50, $60 to take your whole family out to see it. I don't know if
Sure, why not?
if I could quite recommend that. But yeah, guys, appreciate you watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Comment down below your thoughts on the movie if you're going to check it out or not. Turn on the bell notifications for all of our future videos and follow us on our social media accounts down below. We'll see you next time.